Hi, everybody. So good to see all of you again. Welcome to From the Top, presented by Armina Stone. I'm your host, Celina Pompeani, and we are super excited to welcome this guest today. I want to introduce you to Alena Capra. So as you have seen, Armina has expanded into the Miami market, which is so wonderful. Alena is the new spokesperson down there. So thank you for flying up here to join us in Pittsburgh.
It's been so great, Celina. It's my first time actually in Pittsburgh, and I am super excited to be here to meet you and to see Armina Stone headquarters and to be on the podcast. Fun
It's
trip.
such a treat for us. So Alena is the owner and designer of Alena Capra Designs. She wears many hats, many different titles, and she is also the host of a fabulous show. It's called SoFlo Home Project, and that airs in the Miami and Fort Lauderdale local market.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your background, your design background, and how you got into becoming a TV host. It's so cool.
Thank you. So I know that we have a lot of things in common. And
I know
TV is
we
one
work
of them.
many different jobs.
Love wearing a lot of hats. I absolutely love all things design. And ever since I was a child, I loved all things art and design. So naturally, as I, got older, I wanted to do something like that as a job. So when I went to school, I studied graphic design, but then I went back to school for interiors. So I've been doing design for about 21 years now.
Wow.
I love it. I started my own company about 15 years ago. We do residential interiors. We work all over South Florida, but we work nationwide as well. So I've gotten to work in New York, which is where I'm originally from. So I love that connect still. And I've gotten to work in other states. I have been a certified master kitchen and bath designer for quite some time. I started in kitchen and bath design, which is why natural stone is a very big part of everything I've been doing since day one. So it all fits together really nicely. And then I went into full interiors, so furnishing the home. I've done small commercials jobs as well as, residential from 600 square feet to 6,000 square feet. I mean, anything in between. I love it all. So, and then eventually I had the opportunities to work in television. I've done behind the scenes. I started for an HGTV series that shot in Miami. It was a fun start. It was 10 years ago, and it was a show called Weekends with Luis. And I worked behind the scenes designing the makeovers. And I got to see what that was like and work with the producers and design the makeovers. And it was a really fun way to see kind of how that works and to be part of it. And I knew I wanted to continue designing and then sharing that on a platform like that. So I've gotten to be part of many shows along the way, and then finally ended up hosting SoFlo Home Project on the ABC affiliate in Miami, Fort Lauderdale. And been doing that for the last 4.5 years. And it's
so much fun.
A really nice way to keep the design conversations going, share with our viewers design tips and trends, and also tour all of the beautiful homes in really what it's about is showcasing South Florida design in every facet, in every way, and every area. So it's really a lot of fun.
Well, I was watching a few episodes this morning. It's a great show. You do a phenomenal job. I love the one home you designed, and we talked about this. You did the whole kitchen redesign, the living room, I think the master bedroom, the primary bedroom. But the best part about the kitchen, and you mentioned this, the focal point was that beautiful stone centerpiece. And you said, I want to quote you, you said you love to start with the countertops. So that's interesting because if you look at Armina's beautiful inventory, we have some really fabulous statement pieces. So that's where a lot of the homeowners here and designers start with, just like you.
Absolutely. So Celina, I love that you got to see that particular one because it's
I
one of my
love
favorites.
that was the best episode.
So thank you so much. And what I did love about that, and I told you that story because I feel like it really connects everything that we're talking about here today.
Yeah.
When you are designing a focal point in your home, in a kitchen, it is that island, it is that backsplash or that specific piece of stone. And as a designer we used a quartzite, it was called Da Vinci, and it had beautiful greens and rust and like really bold and strong veining. And often at times, sometimes when you just see the piece of stone, for the homeowners I was working with, it's like, well, how are we going to make this all work? We started there. And sometimes that might not be the place where someone thinks that's where I should start. But when you're designing your kitchen and then your family room and your living room, starting with a beautiful piece of stone, there are so many colors in that particular slab. It allowed us to add fabrics, find the rug that we're going to use for the family room that was right adjacent, the bar stools. It all fits together, and I love celebrating the beauty of natural stone in my designs. So that particular piece was like just the kind of the crown jewel of the entire kitchen and family room.
That's why it works so well, because the other countertops surrounding that island, I think they were pretty neutral. It was like a cream tone color. So it really made that stand out. Well, I want to ask you, being in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Southern Florida market, what do you notice down there as far as trends go with stone down in that part of the country?
So I'm glad that you asked that. And being up here in the Pittsburgh area, it's been great to kind of see the inventory and find out what's popular as well. I always love looking regionally at, what people love. And sometimes there's a lot of things that are very consistent. And then sometimes there's some newer things that are new trends in a certain area that's nice to introduce. And sometimes it's about taking something you've never seen before, and that becomes a trend just because it's great. In my region, we love Taj Mahal. Leather finish.
We use that so much up here. Yeah, it's popular.
It's really one of those stones that I think we've been seeing this trend in design as a whole, where things are going warmer, soft tones of creams and taupes and things like that. So the coloration in Taj Mahal in general is just that great neutral to really design any room around. That's one stone where you might not be designing from that, but complementing it. Right?
Yeah.
And some other trends, though, that we are seeing a lot of green, like in that project you've mentioned. The green has been such a great trend, and I'm excited about that personally. In the 20 years I've been in design, you see color trends come and go, and including in stone. And I hadn't used a lot of green in the last few years until just about 2 years ago. I started speccing green again, 2-3 years. And now we're seeing all of these beautiful green stones. And as a designer, it's exciting because I love blue. We're in a coastal area in Florida. Everyone loves blue there. It is like a neutral. It works in any space. And so I love stones with blue, but neutrals, taupes, creams, we're seeing a lot of that. But also, and I know that this is a big trend here, the black stone, like the quartzites and marbles. We're seeing this is it.
Yes, exactly. A lot of people go with that up here. It's very
and you've
classic.
seen these looks forever, right? These are the ones that are not the trends that are, I think, the here to stay.
Yeah, I think so too. One of my good friends has a place actually in Palm Beach in Florida, and everything is like it's black and white, but it has hints of, green here and there. It's just so beautiful, but it screams like a beautiful Florida home with the stone. It's awesome.
And it's so funny. You could easily kind of amp up the look too, or tone it down, and that's what makes it so versatile.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about your role with coverings. Tell us about the company and how long you've been working with them, kind of behind the scenes.
So it'll be 10 years this year. Wow. I have worked as the spokesperson, industry ambassador for Coverings, which is the largest tile and stone trade show in North America. 9 miles of tile on display at every show. I think it could even be more than 9 miles sometimes, depending on how many times you walk back to look at beautiful displays that you need to see again. So I love it. What I really enjoy about working with Coverings is not only the connections and the people I've met along the way. I mean, it puts you around people who absolutely love the tile and stone industry. And it is such a great industry to be part of and learn from others who are experts in their fields, whether they are fantastic fabricators, tile installers, distributors who just really have a great, knowledge of the market and what's trending and what's there. And all of the manufacturers who constantly are bringing new things to the market, bringing new trends, and really just the technology. I mean, we've seen just even in the last 10 years, the printing technology. You can see tile that has carved effects in porcelain tile and all of these things, and everything looks so lifelike. So I have really enjoyed being part of the show and meeting all of the great people, and really feeling like, for me, for my clients, and just working with people in design in general, and also hosting a local show, I get to bring trends of things I see firsthand to them. And I love that, because there is so much out there. And I think as a designer, the more knowledge you have of what's in your market, the more that you can continue to share with people, with clients, with homeowners, with anyone. And there's so much out there. There's so much beauty out there to design with. And it's constantly being able to be created so differently.
Yeah. Well, I need to mention the most exciting part about your new role with Armina in Miami. I mean, how did that come about? And I mean, you are the most perfect person for that. We recently met, but even before I met you, watching your show, watching how much you know, all of your knowledge in the design industry, I mean, it's really it's a beautiful fit.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. I mean, I'm honored to be able to represent Armina in the South Florida market. You have done a phenomenal job. I've seen all the work you've done with them.
We're going to be all over the world, Alena. This is just the start of it.
I am so excited to kind of be part of this. And meeting you has been wonderful. And learning about what you do with Armina and seeing it all has been great.
Thank you.
So I'm excited to introduce Armina to the Miami market as well, in my role with them. And I think it's really exciting. I think it's something that in South Florida would be such a great asset to the design community, to homeowners, to development. There's so much. I mean, we are using and specifying so much natural stone. And being up here, I've got to tour projects that Armina Stone has worked on, and seeing the expert craftsmanship, seeing the beautiful products, all of the detail that installing natural stone is an art. And when it's done right and you see it so beautifully done, as a designer starting a project, you want to see it executed well. Seeing all of that here, being able to bring that same expertise to South Florida, I think is a really exciting thing, and I'm really happy to be part of it.
Well, you mentioned you got to see some of the projects. Yesterday, I heard you went to Nemacolin.
Yes.
So that was a huge project for Armina, and they are still working on the main chateau, beautiful building. It should be done relatively soon. What did you think about it when you first rolled up, when you got to tour, seeing the rooms, even the bathrooms, the fireplace? There's a lot of stone in there.
There is a lot of stone, and beautiful stone at that, right? So first of all, it was awesome. I've never been there before. So not only just sort of learning about the property itself, seeing
you need to come back and go to the spa, Alena.
I will
You'll
definitely
love
be back. So, Celina, it was really so great. Seeing the completed areas were beautiful. The use of stone, I mean, I could look there for hours. There was so much detail to see. The fireplaces were incredible, and hearing the stories behind it, and, you know, from where the stone came from, and then how long, the fabrication process and all of that. So much goes into it. And there's so many stories behind the stone that we see in beautiful finished product, right? So to see it all there was awesome. To get a sneak peek at some of the new stuff was even more incredible, because I just really like seeing that the completed process, even before it's done. As a designer, I could see something when it's partially done, and I know how it's going when it's completely done. But these were so far along that it was really a treat.
It's such a cool area.
Beautiful to see.
Well, and you're from New York, so you still have family in New York, correct?
Yes, and I work a lot in New York as well.
So Nemacolin is not too far. So when you come up, you got to bring your family.
Yes, I would love to go back.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see all of the finished areas.
Me too.
It was great. And seeing Armina Stone's work there was fantastic. They wanted me to see everything up here, and this was great. It really was. And I can't wait to see them leave their mark in South Florida as well.
I know, me too. Speaking of South Florida, I want to talk about where Armina is located, that showroom in the Miami Design District. So I am not familiar with it. Tell us about it and why that's such a happening area down there.
So the Design District truly is, I think, like the pulse of fashion, design, even food, because there's great restaurants there as well. So in Miami, that is just such a great destination. There are all the fabulous shops. I mean,
I know.
all the shopping,
I need to get
Celina,
down there.
that you could love is there. And it's a couple of blocks of just beautiful shops, great restaurants. And when you think fashion, you think style, beautiful things. So having Armina Stone have a presence there, I think, is a really great thing, because seeing all of this beautiful stonework installed and fits right in. It just fits right in beautifully amongst all the other great things and luxe things there.
Absolutely. Well, we mentioned earlier you wear many hats. So you are in the design world, you're in the TV world. So we have a lot of similarities.
Yes.
I love it. But what would you say to somebody who maybe is making a transition, or is, because you always weren't in TV. So hosting was, kind of new for you when you first started.
Absolutely. So, I think in your career journey, whatever your respective career is, a lot of the times we're often, sometimes it's a pivot, sometimes it's an addition of more, sometimes. So I always like to add new roles because at the root of it, I love design. And anything that can relate to kind of sharing that knowledge, sharing something design related. So TV fit in that way so well. And working with Armina Stone fit in so well because it lets me bring years of experience and other things sort of into play. So my advice to anyone who is looking to kind of add or make a change is to never stop learning. I think no matter what it is, and I've been hosting for 4.5 years, the show that I currently work on, and we've talked about this. It's important for me. I take classes every once in a while. I work with coaches. In design, I do continuing education. I go to trade shows. I see what's out there. I think whether it's new, you've been doing it 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, we're always learning, investing in your career, your knowledge, yourself, to better that in any way you can, I think is always a great thing. And I strive to do that in all facets of my work.
That's such good advice. And you are so big on giving back to your community. I mean, you love where you are. You've built such a beautiful brand down there. Why is giving back such a big part of your life? And how do you really kind of, create that community with your design work, with people down there?
So when I started my business, it was always my goal, even though I was a small company, I was a solopreneur for a very long time. To me, the most important thing was give back through your talent to your community. Even if it's not about, charity, sometimes it's about being able to give a check, to give monetarily, right? But sometimes you could just give your time. So even when you don't have a lot to give in that way, when you're starting out, you can give hours of your time. So I always would volunteer for things that I could that were related to my industry, that organizations that sort of aligned. And as I continued to grow, I was able to partner with brands that also loved being charitable and did a lot of charitable things. So even when you're a smaller company, partnering with others to make a bigger impact to help other people in your community is so great. Like personally, my company, we've worked a lot with Make-A-Wish Foundation in South Florida, done a lot of room makeovers. I've been fortunate to partner with a lot of people in addition to bring even more to those makeovers. And honestly, I feel like when you have whatever the talent is, whatever your work is, sharing that with others makes everything so much more beautiful. It's such a great experience. I love working with Make-A-Wish. We've worked with Kids Sanctuary Campus in West Palm Beach, where they built homes for foster children. And each designer, we outfit a complete room, all of the stuff, and then they install it. And these children actually live in those spaces that you create. And I've worked on 3 homes in there, 3 different rooms and 3 different homes. And it was just such a special experience. And anytime there's an opportunity to do that and to give back, we're usually first ones to say, sign us up. Because I really think that it's actually some of my most memorable and favorite projects are many of those projects and the families that we've worked with. And just to think that sometimes something you do every day, you don't always think about how it could help others, but it can. And partnering with even more people to make it that much greater is, I think, the best part about doing it, because you can make a bigger impact.
Yeah, you're so right about that. Giving your time. I'm sure that took a long time to make those rooms beautiful and just how you wanted it for those kids. So I can't imagine. I'm sure they were so appreciative and thankful of just your time and doing that.
Yes,
I love that.
Time and resources. I will tell you.
Oh yeah.
I got to do one. We made it look like a football field. It was for Kids Sanctuary Campus, and it was one of the restrooms for the boys' cottage. And I was like, let's have fun with this. So I have a great pool of resources of people in different facets of the industry. I'm like, I want to make the field mosaic football field with the yard lines, with the hash. We did that. We made the shower the end zone. I did a goalpost and tile around the window, and I had a friend make a 3D regulation size football in custom mosaic on this mold to look like it was going over the goalpost. And
wow.
you know, we had fun with it, and I think like I just wanted to create joy, and that's what it's about. It's about creating joy and helping.
Well, you are a beautiful person inside and out. And you mentioned football, and that was something I wanted to bring up because you are a huge Dolphins fan, but you have history there. You were a cheerleader. Yes. I love that.
Back in the day, I did cheer for the Miami Dolphins.
We need to see video. Do you have videos and photos, Alena?
There might be some old clips somewhere on Instagram on a Throwback Thursday back in the day. No, I absolutely love it. I am very proud of that. Yes. I love sports. I love all the local teams.
And I bet that helped with your on-camera career right now. Being in front of crowds.
They're representing a team, a brand, and also charitable stuff. Sort of actually that's where I really started, because we always did charitable things with the Miami Dolphins organization. So, you start and you learn and you see and you do it yourself too. Yeah. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I also cheered for the Miami Hurricanes on the dance team there. So cool. All the local teams, I love going to games on any given Saturday or Sunday during football season. I might be there. I love going. It's a lot of fun, and just a big part of my life in the past.
Mm-hmm. Well, they had a great season. Have you been to a Steelers game?
I have not. I have not. I would love to.
We're going to make that happen this year. That'll be fun.
Yes. I love, one of my favorite things is when I travel to other cities to try to go to a sporting event there, because it's fun to see sports culture in each city is also different. And I think it's really an interesting thing to see. I also love the design of stadiums and arenas. So as a designer, especially when it's new or newly remodeled, it's really kind of cool to see what's being done. I love that.
Absolutely. Well, I also have to mention, then we'll get back to the focus here. You were at PPG Paints Arena last night.
I was.
Tell me about the Andrea Bocelli concert, because he's fabulous.
Beautiful concert. Absolutely beautiful. And that was also my first time there in that arena, which I know you have a lot of history with.
And we have, absolutely. And they have beautiful stone, and especially in one of their major suites, it's like right by the ice. So if you stay there, you'll notice all the Cambria surfaces, and the players actually walk out to the bench into the ice, and you could pass that suite and see all the stone. It's cool.
I love that.
So I'm sure you notice that when you go to different places, like you said.
Yes, absolutely. It's so nice to see all of those things, and I really enjoyed the experience.
Yes. So you've lived in Miami and Fort Lauderdale area for many years now.
Yes.
Would you call that home? I know you're from New York, but that's where your whole life is.
So I have been in Fort Lauderdale. I've lived in Miami. I went to the University of Miami many years ago. I've lived down there. I've been in Broward County for some time, and I love it. I absolutely love South Florida. I'm fortunate to be able to work all over South Florida with the design projects, as well as with working with SoFlo Home Projects. So there is so much beauty in each part and each area. And I think, of course, we have the beaches and the great weather, so that doesn't hurt. I always will love New York. New York is always like, I'm a New Yorker at heart. But Florida is home, and I absolutely love it there. And I'm excited that Armina Stone will be having setting down some roots in South Florida as well. It's going to be a great addition in our design community and everything.
We're so excited. And you mentioned on SoFlo Home Projects, you featured a lot of your own designs, like that one we mentioned. What's the most challenging part when you're redesigning a space to keep some of the older parts of the home? Like you mentioned, that homeowner wanted to keep that bar area. That can be challenging when you have a certain vision yourself.
Yes. So the thing is, when it comes to design, is you have to approach each project so differently, because it's about really working with people. It's their home, kind of figuring out what are their needs, how they live their lifestyle. Everyone's lifestyle is different. And is this a primary residence? Is it a secondary residence? There's a lot of things that come into play. Often when people have certain ways that they've lived, they want to keep certain things because that's their day-to-day routines. Like, this thing works for us, this does not work for us. It's really about those conversations and finding out how you can design to make someone's life easier, but also just more beauty surrounding them in their new space. So it's about function and beauty, always in design, right? And it's the same thing when you're picking product, picking surfaces, picking things for the home, asking the questions, what is it that you're looking for? What types of maintenance, what types of look, all of these things, everything always comes into play. You have to ask questions and really kind of it's a process where you have to be open to understanding that not every person you work with is going to have the same needs. So understanding everyone's needs individually, and then the designs are even better executed.
Yeah, absolutely. You've worked with a lot of stone.
Yes.
What do you mostly gravitate towards?
So what I love about natural stone in general is that it's always there's always something different. You'll always see something different.
Yes. Even when I walk the showroom here in Cranberry, there's thousands of slabs and they're all different.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
I love it. I mean, yesterday I got a chance for walking through. I always, you'll see some that you're familiar with. I've used this. I love this. But then you see something that you've never seen before. So I think what's so cool is there's always going to be something different or new. And the beauty of natural stone, which is so great, is that it's something that's coming from the earth. It's natural. There's going to be sometimes just different veining, different looks. It's art. It really is art from the earth, and I think that's what is so cool about it. And I also love that a finish can simply change the stone. Right? Like we talked about leather finish on Taj Mahal.
I know. It's so beautiful. I love a leathered look.
I do too. I feel, and so it's casual in a way, but elegant at the same time. It's like this perfect blend of casual elegance. But even yesterday when we toured at the resort, a mixture, when you see different stones in application, sometimes you see it on a slab, but when you see something installed on a bar top, for example, it allows you to say, oh, that looks great in this use. And then you think about it. So I think what I love is the options are endless, whether you're cladding a wall, creating countertops for a kitchen, a bath, a dressing area, floor slabs. There's so many ways to bring it in. And I think I always approach it with fresh eyes for every project. I just want to be inspired by that. And I said, I start with the stone a lot of times in my projects, and then I build from there.
Yeah. Well, a couple more things before we go. I could talk to you all day. This is fun.
It's been so much fun.
So you mentioned where Armina is located, that amazing design district. You talked about some of the food. What are some of the best restaurants that we can go to when we go down there to visit Armina?
There are so many.
I bet I'm sure you can get any type of food you want down there.
So there's a couple in the design district that are always historically great. You have MC Kitchen, which is wonderful. Michael's Genuine. You have Contessa. So there's a lot right there, just in walking distance. But if I could go on and on probably with restaurants, but I think there's always something different, and each of them, there's different decor, different options. I always think about decor when I go in a restaurant. It's about the food, but
that's big though. I'm sure you get a lot of inspiration from, touring restaurants down there.
Yes, there's so much. And even in the shops, when you walk around the design district and you see the detail that each of these retailers, these luxury retailers, put into their showrooms. And then there's also furniture showrooms there. There's home design too. So it's just good food, beautiful inspiration,
great weather,
great shopping, all the things.
It's all down there. Yes. Well, Alena, what are you most looking forward to as your new role with Armina in Florida? So
I'm looking forward to it all. I'm looking forward to being able to obviously see the new location, all the beautiful displays, the inventory of product. I mean, it's just, I got a sneak peek. I got to walk through and see stuff there, and I feel inspired every time I walk through. I'm like, oh, there's just so many so much to look at, right? I'm really looking forward to also just sort of being part of this introduction into our South Florida market. As from a designer standpoint, the value in having expert craftsmanship, beautiful product, great workmanship, attention to detail, all of those things, it just makes everything better in build and construction and that. And then just being able to be part of a really great team. I'm excited to join.
You will love it so much, and I'm so excited for this expansion. I got to get down there. I'm going to see the new locations. We'll go to dinners. We'll get good cocktails. It's going to be a party, let me tell you.
Yes.
Well, where can our viewers find more if they want to maybe catch your show? I watched a couple on YouTube, so you're all over social media.
Well, first of all, thank you for watching.
Yeah, I love it.
On my website, Alena Capra Designs, I have links to all of that, and I appreciate you taking the time and just kind of helping share the story.
This was so much fun, Alena. Thank you for coming up to Pittsburgh and just being here in the studio as a guest. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you so much, Celina. This has been awesome. I love chatting with you and being here in Pittsburgh.
I know. I can't wait to work together. We got a lot of fun stuff in the future. But before we go, we got to sing. We sing our jingle at the end of every show. So when you start the podcast down in Florida, you can't forget, you got to end with the jingle.
I'm going to have to take some vocal training. I'm going to be ready. I will be ready.
Okay, I'll count us down.
Okay.
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Ooh, Armina Stone. Yeah.